Hello YouTube. So let's try to solve our first problem in C++. So let's let's just head over to a website called codechef.com. So this is a beautiful website to learn programming or learn competitive programming to be more specific. So I'll be doing all the coding part in C++. So let's just go to practice section, and in practice let's go to the beginners. And yeah, it's taking a little bit of time. Sorry for my slow internet. Okay, so just from the list of problems, just select from heaven to earth. So let's try to read the problem statement. The question is from heaven to earth. So the question goes this way: chef has been working in a restaurant which has n floors. He wants to minimize the time it takes for him to go from the nth floor, that is maybe the top floor or any other floor, to ground floor. He can now there are two options. He can either take the elevator or the stairs. So what all things we know till now, that chef has he's working in a restaurant which has n floors, and he has to minimize the time it takes for him to go from nth floor to ground floor. And there are two options. Number one is stairs, and number two is elevator. So what other information is given? So the stairs are at an angle of 45 degrees, and chef's velocity is v1 meter per second. That is, stairs are at angle of 45 degrees. This angle is 45 degree, and his velocity is v1 meter per second v1 meter per second. Now the elevator on the other hand moves with a velocity v2 meter per second. Whenever an elevator is called, it starts from the ground floor and goes to the nth floor. Starts from ground floor, goes to the nth floor, where it collects chef. And one additional information is given, that collecting takes no time. It then makes its way down to the ground floor with chef in it. Okay, so the elevator cross a total distance equal to n meters when going from nth floor to the ground floor, or vice versa, while the length of stairs is square root of 2 multiplied with n, because the stairs is at angle of 45 degrees. Now chef has enlisted your help to decide whether he should use stairs or elevators to minimize his travel time. Can you help him out? So what comes in your mind when you read this question? The thing is, when a beginner reads this question, he starts to worry, like, what all things are given. This is like a bunch of statements are given. How am I going to figure out what technique or how I'm going to solve the question? So just try to focus on parts of information at a time. So it is given that it has n floors, and he has to go from nth floor to ground floor, and it is clearly mentioned that, see here, it always starts from ground floor, goes to nth floor, and then collects the chef, which takes no time obviously, and then comes to ground floor. So if he has to cover a distance equal to n meter from ground floor to nth floor, so he has to cover that equal distance from that is nth floor to ground floor. So he has 2n distance to cover if he opts for elevator, and if he goes by stairs, he has just not n distance, because the stairs are at 45 degrees. So we don't want this length, the height of the building. We need the slant height. So that is given using Pythagoras theorem. You can easily say that if the angle is 45 degree, the distance will be square root of 2 times n. Okay, so, and that is given in the question itself. So the only thing we need to figure out is, okay, so the basic approach should be, like, we know that speed is equal to distance upon time. We need to minimize the time, so we need to calculate the time. So time will be equal to distance by speed or velocity. So first calculate the speed taken, that is the time required for elevator, in which case the distance will be 2n, and then calculate for stairs, where the distance will be square root of 2 times n divided by the velocity, which is v2. Actually the thing is, chef's velocity is v1, so in stairs it will be v1, and in lift, that is elevator, it will be v2. So let's try to solve this question. So what else is given? The first line contains a single integer t denoting number of test case. Each test case is described by a single line containing 3 space separated integers n, v1 and v2. So in every test case there are 3 variables, that is n, that is the height of the building or the floor where elevator will arrive and pick the chef up, and then v1 and v2. the two velocities, that is chef's velocity and elevator's velocity. So okay, so for each test case output a single line string, elevator or stairs. So we have to just output stairs if stairs are taking that is going by stairs takes less time, and elevator I mean if going by elevator is a better option or takes less time. So let's see. Okay, this is a pretty much easy question. So let me just open my Sublime text. So yeah, sorry, that's not Sublime. Yeah, so Sublime text. Okay, so first thing is, as I'm doing the coding in C++. Okay, first let me save this file. Let's say program1.cpp. Okay, then now the directories, that is header files, that is hash include. You maybe have heard about stdio.h or iostream.h, but what I'm going to use is bits slash okay standard C++.h. So by just using this one line, you don't have to specify any other library. So that's the tip of the day. So now using namespace standard, okay then. So what information is given? Let's see. Input, the first line contains a single integer t, the number of test cases, and each test case is described by a single line containing 3 space separated integers. So every test case has n, v1 and v2. So the thing is, first of all, test case, it is an integer. First input that is c in t. Now for every test case, so if there are t test cases, we have to like calculate for each test case. So let's use a loop here. I'll use while loop, while t minus minus. Okay, now they said that there are three integer variables for every test case, which is n, v1 and v2. So n, v1 comma v2. Now let's just input them using scanf. You should know this, that scanf is faster than your C in C out. Scanf, printf, they both are faster than C in C out. So it's like ampersand, yeah, n okay. Now what? So yeah, after that, okay, so the value for this thing, distance, now we need to calculate time. So that is going to be a distance by velocity. So that is going to be a float value. So it's better if you take a float variable to store the time. So float, declare two float variables, and float one for stairs and the other one for elevator. Okay, now what you need to do is time is equal to distance upon velocity. So we have v1, v2 right here. So just first of all, let's calculate for this thing, elevator. So elevator will be, the distance is 2n, so that is 2 multiplied with n. Okay, and this whole thing will be divided by velocity, which is v1. Now v1 is integer, so it's better to convert of typecast it into float, just using this float outside v1. So float of v1. So this will give us the time for elevator to cover that distance, that is going from ground floor to the nth floor and then coming back to the ground floor. So now for stairs, it will be, the distance is as it is mentioned here, it is square root of 2 into n. So you can do that by using sqrt function in C++. So sqrt of n, that multiplied with 2, right? Sorry, sqrt of 2, that multiplied with Now n here again is integer, so it's better to convert it into float. So that multiplied with float of n. Oh, that will give the distance, and again you can put this whole thing into a bracket and then divide that by. Okay, so elevator speed was given to be v2, so that will be v2 and this will be v1. So these are the two speeds. We just need to compare which one is less. If stair is taking less time, so just if else condition will come. If stair is less than equal to elevator, so what we need to do is just printf. We need to print, what do we need to print here? So just stairs, this one, stairs. So just copy that and put this here, stairs. Else we'll do the same thing again, this thing, and instead of stairs it will be elevator. I think, let's check this. It's elevator. Okay, so let's just check it once. Our program is complete almost. Yeah, so cint while, okay, 3 variables scanned, then 2 float variables to store the time taken. Okay, so time is distance upon velocity. This is for elevator, this is for stairs. I hope I'm not doing wrongs. Okay, yeah, this v1 should also be typecasted using float. So float of v1. Okay, so if stair is less than equal to elevator, printf stairs, else printf elevator. So yeah, I think we are pretty much done here. So just save this program. This is program1.cpp, and let's try to submit this program that we just created. So first we need to log in. So I'm logging in using my credentials. Okay, from heaven to earth. So I need to we need to click on the submit button here, and my default language is C++, so that is already selected. Just choose your file. You can also like copy paste your code in this area. Please insert your source code in this area right here, but it is better to upload the file itself. So where is this? Program 1, right? So this is the one, program 1. Open and then submit. You can see that it will take a little bit of time. It's like running on various test cases, and it will give you the output. So let's check. As you can see, it's running. So correct answer, execution time 0.0. So that is it. This is how easy it is. Like, obviously this is a beginner's question, but then kudos for solving our first question.